Sweden just told Russia to basically fuck off, and they've seized a Russian cargo ship. And Russia is mad. And you need to know why they did this. But first, Sweden said, quote, "Last night we boarded the ship with support from the Swedish Coast Guard in order to make a customs inspection." But something important, Sweden actually said that inspection is still ongoing. In other words, they still have the ship in their custody. There is though actually a reason why Sweden has done this. And as you'd expect, they played the usual card of the ship has sanctions on it. Something really interesting though, this cargo ship has actually had sanctions on it long before the war in Ukraine started. These sanctions are nothing to do with that. These are actually EU sanctions on the ship and its owners, because the owners are suspected of smuggling weapons illegally. Sweden said that yesterday the Russian ship had left St. Petersburg in Russia, but it had no destination and they didn't know where it was going. Because of that, they wanted to check to make sure the ship had nothing it shouldn't have. Kind of made sense, but it's also worth knowing that this single Russian cargo ship has a long history of being boarded by other countries and having similar things like this happen to it. Back in 2021, Greek forces did the same thing. They boarded this Russian cargo ship and they started inspecting and searching it for weapons which they thought were being smuggled illegally. So far, Sweden hasn't said whether they found anything illegal on board the ship or not. All they've said is that they still have this Russian cargo ship in their custody. For some reason though, even though this is such a big deal and it's really quite interesting, nobody's talking about this, which is why you should leave me a follow for some more global news that nobody else covers.